Добрый день, уважаемые друзья. Благодарю вас за то, что вы пришли на нашу встречу сегодня.
Good day, dear friends, and thank you very much for joining us. We would like to thank the organizers for inviting us, and let us discuss the protocol so we see how we will work today. We have 6 speakers. I'm going to introduce them very shortly, and each speaker will be given 8 or 10 minutes. Following that, you will be able to address your questions. My request to you is to raise your hand. I will select you, and you will be given a microphone, and you will have to say who you address your question to. Allow me to introduce our speakers. We have here Sofia Cherkasova, physician, the member of Russian Society of Somnologists. Denis Semenihian, well-known person. I don't have to introduce him. Grow Fitness, books author, athlete Alexei Muratov, Alexei Utin, the head doctor of Smart Checkup, and Gleb Arkhangelsky, business coach, author of books for planning your time, and the founder of the company Organizing Your Time. And I am the moderator, Sergey Baduk. Could you please give me the microphone, otherwise I do not see my audience. Dear friends, I will take 3 minutes of your time. I will say a provocative thing. There is a well-known opinion that we live in large cities, and in order to be happy, you need to go to the country as far as you can, somewhere to the mountains, and then your life will become perfect. I can assure you this is wrong. If you look at Japan, where the number of long-living people is the largest worldwide, you will see that the majority of them live in large cities, so they do not live in the country. The number of people that live 100 years in Japan is over 100. So what is the secret in fitness? No, absolutely not. It's not about fitness or doing sports. First and foremost, it is the level of healthcare, quality of healthcare. And also another secret is that the entire nation has regular medical checkups. This way you prevent diseases rather than you treat them. Then you have a certain lifestyle, and you can join my training sessions as well. We are in charge of our health, so we take care of ourselves. So when I'm asked what to do first is to make sure that you need to go to bed at 9 or 11 p.m. and people say it's not real, and they say go away. If you are not able to have long sleep and you don't take care of the diet, every other effort would be a waste, and I'm strongly convinced about it. This is my strong point. We live in a wonderful city, Moscow. Believe me, it has best infrastructure for health as well as for sports. But I have not been to Tel Aviv. They say they have more parks than we do. I don't know. As for the other cities I have visited, cannot be compared to Moscow. So we will start with Sophia. The floor is yours. I will pass you the microphone so it will be easier for you to talk. Thank you. Wonderful. Good day. Thank you very much for joining us on Sunday instead of staying at home with your gadgets and your beloved ones. And if you're here, it means that you think of your health and you want to improve and become better. I am a sonologist. And when I say that I'm a somnologist, very often people ask, what is it? I take care of sleep, and I take caring for sleep. And of course, it will not save your life, but it will dramatically improve your life, because sleep accounts for third part of your life. And if your sleep is good, of high quality, your daily activities improve as well, and you recuperate during sleeping. So I understand that if you sleep well, you recover. Tell me who were not able to sleep well or who had little sleep. Raise your hands. I see. And good. Well, of course, I'm sarcastic by saying good. Well, statistics say that 10% of population suffer from chronic sleeplessness, while 40% of population suffer from sleep disorders. And I hope that the reason that you slept little was not in a disease, but just you are in a habit of not sleeping enough. And here I could give you lots of life hacks, some extraordinary or fresh ones, but I would prefer to talk about 5 minutes that will help you to counteract stress. And point one is, of course, to sleep enough. And in the speaker's room, we got together with my colleagues, and I understand that these people are multitaskers, and I asked them, how can you stay so energetic and look so good and have lots of plans? And they say, we sleep enough. So again, you need to sleep enough. And there is a good trick. Some of you are sitting here and think, how can I sleep enough? First, you come back from work, you do your house chores, you help your children to do their homework, and then finally at midnight you go to bed, or at 1 a.m., and then you have to wake up at 6 a.m. There is no chance to sleep enough. Well, go to bed 15 minutes earlier than you're used to. 15 minutes will not change your things dramatically. They will allow you to take care of your ordinary things, but that will add 2 hours of sleep per week. Next, we have lots of stress and lots of reasons for stress, and my second point is not to add to the stress load. Raise hands those of you who love waking up at weekend at 10 o'clock, midday, 1 a.m. Yeah, I see there are people like this. Well, it is good to indulge yourself in this. However, you should have measure. Moderation is a great thing. There is a good rule to wake up no more than 2 hours later at weekend than at a working day. That will save you from excessive stress, because there is a structure in the brain subcortical core that is in charge of our circadian rhythm, and we are dependent on sleep. And if you sleep more at weekends, it means that we imitate a flight to the west, and then on Monday you have to get back to your eastern location. And there are people who sleep 7 hours more at weekend. For your body, it's a great stress. So think about it. Wake up at weekend no later than 2 hours after your typical wake-up time for working hours. And physical load. Physical load is a universal mechanism for good sleep and for alleviating the stress load. As for good sleep, we have a universal rule: 30 to 45 minutes of aerobic burden load per day. And it can be fast walking, or it can be a cardio load, or it can be the running on treadmill or swimming. It is a minimum for you, but if you have this minimum, you will be able to burn stress hormones that circulate in your blood as you gain your stress load, and that will provide you better sleep and fresher start on the following day. The fourth is saying no to coffee. Not saying total no. You cannot imagine a modern person without a cup of coffee. Here you go. A very good live illustration, live demo. Yes, and you took a sip right in front of the audience. Good. Coffee has a great effect because it captures adenosine receptor, and we have dopamine, energy, and it's good for the first half of the day. But there are people who love coffee and they drink it on a regular basis, and for them it is a source of energy. But this is artificial source of energy, and you can develop dependency on coffee. And when the effect of 1 cup of coffee will finish, you will move not to a neutral state, but you will feel very sleepy, because adenosine will have a strong effect once the effect of coffee will be gone. So say no to caffeine in the second half of the day. Caffeine is not only coffee, it's also black and green tea, hot chocolate, dark, and milk. So remember that in the context of stress, caffeine also has non-specific action. Some say, I can drink 2 cups of espresso for a night and sleep perfectly. Yes, that may happen, but it doesn't matter whether caffeine freshens you up or not. There is one effect of coffee. It increases the sensitivity of nervous system to stress. So the stress that will not touch you during the day will feel very much larger during the night. So you can take 250 or 300 milligrams of caffeine per day. And what is more, will stimulate you more, and then you will suffer from stress a lot more. And the 5th point, very obvious, this is the hygiene of your bedroom. It is ideal to sleep not in your working clothes. You cannot neglect these matters. It should be well-aired room, dark one. So think of these simple matters and think of your bed, of your nightwear, because this accounts, again, for 1/3 of your life, because there was a study on how much Muscovites spend on clothes. So Muscovites on average spend 300,000 rubles within 5 years and spend very little for the bed. So redistribute your expenses, think of the sleeping conditions, and that will ensure your sleep, and you will be able to resist stress much better. Thank you very much for your attention. Fantastic talk. I fully agree. And I apologize for drinking coffee in front of everyone. I can assure you that the doctor is absolutely right. I love tea. And if you drink good Chinese tea, again, you should not drink it after lunch, because you won't be able to sleep at night. After lunch, I drink Ayurvedic tea that is water, warm water. Thank you very much for your speech, and I give the floor to Denis Semenichin. Denis, the floor is yours. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you very much for joining us on Sunday. I would not expect such a huge audience, so many fans of health, people that really take care of their quality of life. I listened to the speeches, something what Sophia and Sergey shared with you, and I thought, what is the secret of my lifestyle and what I can share with you? I have lots of flights, something what Sophia was talking about, lots of jet lags, and you say that you can live longer at weekend and you feel like you're going west or east, but indeed, when you fly, well, I returned from California less than 48 hours ago. Now I tried to adjust 48 hours ago, and now I try to adjust to new time. So what helps me to keep fit, feel energetic, and I understand that I didn't have sufficient sleep and I had wrong diet, so the rhythm is disturbed. So I try to feel happy about the current goals. So I want to make sure that the goals that I set forth for myself, and my goal is to speak in front of you, is my choice. So I created these things for myself, and I chose it myself consciously. This may sound far-fetched. However, let's think about the following. What you do in your life, is it in line with your image of an ideal life? This is an open question. well, if you practice healthy lifestyle and you're paid for it, it's good. So the question is how you support yourself in our demanding environment. So think about it, and you don't have to think about it now, but think about it. Think whether your life is in line with your ideal notions. And this is reason number one. Besides sleep and besides having healthy diet, it's very important to be happy about your life. I am happy about my life. My life today is my dream as a teenager. I love feeling free, being able to travel around and share my beliefs with those who surround me. As for lifestyle, rhythm, and their importance, no matter how much you try to abstract from positive will, positive attitude, and I'm sure that you all know about positive attitude, but think, can positive attitude help you with your severe sleep deprivation? If you feel stomach pain, can positive attitude help you? You can meditate as much as you want. You can think about good things. But if you have acute pain, forget about it. It's a catastrophe. You need to respect your body. We have our bodies, and you are inside this unique machine, and it is a unique machine. And to remind yourselves about the uniqueness of our bodies, open an anatomical book. And I do it from time to time to flip through the pages and look at all systems, at all organs. Each of you possess them. And I can tell you that they work incredibly. We are the result of the evolution of humans. And you see, there were many predecessors that are standing behind you who gave life to you. So respect your body that was given to you as a gift. Sleep enough and think about your spirit and body, but also regard it as a gift. Let's say somebody gave you a car, you bought a car, you provide service maintenance, right? I know people who spend more money on their cars rather than on their bodies, but this is absurd. They wash their car more often than they wash their clothes. This is terrible, let alone diet. So, you know they choose the best petrol, but then I see them in a grocery store where they buy crackers or sweets. This is awful, and I don't understand. It is also fuel for your body. Food is fuel for our bodies. Let's think about it. Thank you very much. So, tell me why we treat ourselves this way, and when we will come to a bright point, and we all live for our bright future. So one will bright future become one, and we start having healthy diets, we will take care of ourselves. So when will this day come? When will we finally do what we love doing? Don't postpone your life. Every day is important. And today is already here. Start doing something for yourselves today. Getting back to practice, you are going to ask questions, right? So is there any questions? I will be happy to answer those. And for me, it's very hard to balance and say something specific or share some fundamentals with you. There are many diet theories nowadays, a great number of them, and you will see that there are a lot of arguments for and against the diamonds. It was much easier in 1980s and 1990s. There were so few materials, and there was classical approach, and we wouldn't argue about it. Today, you can have separate diet, or you can go through periodic starvation, fat, low-fat carb diet, this diet, that diet. Listen to your body, but in order to hear it, you need to treat it well. You need to develop taste, like you develop taste for books, for literature, for films, Same thing with food. You can go to the supermarket and you should understand what exactly you want. You see, children and animals, they follow their instincts, but we ignore our instincts because we have lots of waste information, because we have read this and this. So I was here the day before, and I was on the day when a Japanese speaker was here. So here we had a Nobel Prize winner from Japan who talked about the theory of practical starvation. So I decided to listen to him, despite the fact that I was very sleepy. So you listen to his speech, you leave the room, and you tell yourself, well, starting from tomorrow, I should start this, or maybe I should start it even today. And we get lots of signals, a lot of information and rubbish information, and there are so many diamonds. I think it makes sense to experiment and see what your body feels about this or the other diet. You know, I tried starvation. I don't know whether you guys did or not. For me, it's very challenging. And you know what I'm talking about. You do not eat for 16 hours and then you eat for the next 8. And for me it was very hard. I felt like I was playing hide and seek with my body, like I'm stretching myself. And I felt like I was sitting in front of a table, and there is a dish on your table, and you're sitting looking at the plate, at the dish, and you don't eat it because it's early. But your body is not foolish. It knows that it is time to eat. And you stretch yourself, and then it will play against you. So I did not feel any benefit, any increase of energy, and so on. So now I take little portions. This is something what was taught to us. Do I have a minute? Yeah. What else can I tell you about training? Of course, I don't want to turn you into a mass. Here there are lots of people with different experience, background, and different body conditions, and different background in terms of sports. Maybe some of you do not practice sport at all. We all have different genetics, of course, but I would like you not to justify the absence of actions or bad look, so do not justify all this with genetics, or saying this is my metabolism and I cannot do anything about it. Have you watched show Weight People? I'm sure some of you have. For me, this project was same shock as for those fat people. I apologize for calling them this way. So we had 3 years, 3 seasons. I saw people who I would not see in reality because I do not work as a coach. And here, thanks to this TV project, I was able to get in touch with these people. All these people lacked, let me stand up. So all they lacked was belief in what they can do, that they did not believe that they could run from here to here. I ran together with them. Can you imagine what running was for them? They ran for 5 minutes, but I was together with them, and I helped them to cover a distance of 5 kilometers. In 2 weeks, the adjustment rate, and by the way, adjustment rate was the same like for them. It doesn't matter whether you weigh 200 kilos or 80 kilos, you just in the same way, in the same pace. So we all went through the same evolution, so create the conditions where your body will be able to change. It's in your hands and nobody will do it for you, no matter what Sergei Safir says. Nobody will be able to make this decision for you and tell you, you listen to us now. So tomorrow do something, use an application and try to climb 100 floors up. iPhone counts it de facto. You don't believe you can do it? Well, 100 floors. Typically, I climb 50 floors up without training because I try not to use elevators. I always go downstairs and upstairs. So do this, start changing your body.
Считаю, что
So, dear friends, I think that was a brilliant presentation, and I took 2 notes from the first presentation, though you kind of know everything, and here I feel like a cool pupil. After listening to Dennis, you know, I want to do sit-ups or something. Let us applaud to him. Ladies and gentlemen, our next speaker, I would like to give floor to Andrei Asadov, Director of Architectural Bureau Asadov. And hello, dear friends. I love walking when it's possible, and I am an architect in the 2nd generation in my family. We have architects in our family, and our task is to create a city which is for life, so that the city inspires, so that you love what you do. And in our profession, for all of you, we try to create this city that will help you to love what you do, even if you don't do it now. And with examples of different projects, I have lots of slides. I'll try to be quickly going through them. How we create the real elements of a healthy city, and which helps us not just to get rid of stress, but inspires you, gives you new energy. So I wanted to ask all of you a question, but we are so limited for time, so just think about the answer. Maybe after all of the presentations you will speak up. What is a live city? Some years ago, with a big team of experts from different areas, we came up with our definition of a living city. That's a place you want to live, create, dream, and love. You wouldn't live, and you would like to come back to. And if you think about that phrase a little bit, I think all of you would love to be in such a place. And we all may help this to happen, and as architects, we facilitate that in different functions. So that's a live house. This is a micro-environment. Who has seen this house? That's in Museum Park. That's a small coffee shop. So we called it a flap house. You get there, and the environment inside seems more. It expands, it has the light, and it is connected with the external world. And how is it possible? We try to analyze macro and micro world, and here, and we have the stars, but you know, the laws are the same. These are live organic structures, and we thought that we could introduce the same structure for a human. So in the core there's a public area, and around it So there are living districts, and each district is like the cells, and then we have living areas, and together they make one picture, and the unity of those who are unlike, and that's a nice area I would like to walk around. And this is a kindergarten. Have you attended such kindergartens? Yes, these are very severe memories, but kindergarten can be more optimistic. That's a small kindergarten not far from Kursk railway station, on a very small land plot, in a very small area. It was only for playing grounds, and there was no place for the kindergarten built. That was architectural challenge for us. And some of the playing grounds were on the ground, some on the roof. And in this kindergarten, half of the children are on the roof, the other on the ground. It was enough to make the rails in line with safety regulation. This is the second level landscape. That's a natural format for megalopolises. And positive and creative area, which just not removes your stress only, but also motivates you to create. A sports center, and of course these are no inspiring environments and spaces. Now a sports center is a continuation of the nature. And this is a sports club in Moscow, in Belorusskaya Street. It's near a city park, municipal park, and it gets to its roof, and then you see what is the result. And you get to continuation of the natural environment, fitness, yoga rooms. They are around the internal yard, and also there is a lot of light, and that's important to be connected with external environment. And also elements of living environment. I think you remember that these parks may look like that, but what can people do with more extreme climates? For example, this is a park in the city of Yakutsk. Now the temperature is not like here, European, it's -40, -50. What kind of park can we be talking about? So these are covered spaces, and we say that nature can exist in such extreme climate. So these are the spaces which can be utilized both in summer and winter. All of the plants, they go one level higher, and also there is a heating, and in isolated elements and in internal spaces you can spend time, and also there are transparent windows, and a key topic here, and our forum is around that, a life architecture of a hospital, which will remove your stress. I think traditionally the buildings of hospitals are not so ugly. What kind of prophylaxis can we be talking about if you don't want to just enter this building? And this is one of our most exciting projects. This is the Center of Children's Hematology. There they treat the most severe cancer diseases. These are blood cancer diseases of children, and this wonderful team of doctors set us a task to make a hospital which does not look as a hospital, so that we create a space which gives you hope to get cured. And we try to create that together with the doctors. A big clinical center. There is a rehab department and clinical departments, and also there is a place where children stay for a long time and they get rehabilitation, sometimes several weeks up to several months. That's why there is a small school and kindergarten inside. We try to make it very positive. We use bright colors, and of course that's very important not to overdo with the colors. And in such a dull environment, so it's important to introduce bright colors, and we are happy that the atmosphere is really amazing. And the center has been working for many years, and some charity foundations, they help children, they do trainings for them, workshops. All of the atmosphere is not only around fighting the disease, but it helps to treat and cure and inspire belief in children that anything is possible. And 15 years ago, new methods of treating these severe diseases were developed, and that's a view of the future. Architects, they usually speak about the future, and that's a new image that we see new, and we would like this future to happen today. This is Kolkovo Medical Cluster. So this is a view of the future, hospital of the future, what a building may look like. And their principle is preventative medicine. You would love to attend. It looks like a fitness center. 5 principles of healthy architecture with an example of this building. And the hospitals can happen. That's positive external view, energy efficient facade, and it's like a hot pot, and it's partially transparent, but it's very efficient in terms of energy saving, and also elements of nature in internal spaces. When you get to the central atrium, it's filled with light, and it's not a pressuring atmosphere. It makes you calmer, and also it gives you optimism. Number 4, flexibility of spaces. Even the furniture can be transformed, and it can be used for conferences. This is the showroom of the whole cluster. And the final principle, that's the environment, which gives you comfort and solves your problem. It inspires you, it gives you new energy. And us as architects, we try to do that in all the functions, and we wish you this environment to exist around you in different moments of your life. Thank you. Before giving floor to our next speaker, I would like to make one comment. I was here at the expo, and there were a huge lunch. You can do different checkups, take some tests for free, and we remember about this when we are at the expo. And I am doing exercise sessions in this park, and there is a big pavilion in small letters. It says free checkup. There was nobody ever. And my uncle, he's a doctor in New York. A minimal visit for take your temperature, pressure, and then it will confirm them. The minimal The minimal check is $800. Moscow provides unique opportunities to everybody. I don't know any other assembly, any other conference where they do it. Wonderful city, you have all of the opportunities. Why you just remember about yourselves only for the days of the conference? Going back to presentations by all of our speakers, I'm happy to give floor to Alexei Utin, the Chief Doctor of Smart Checkup. Thank you. I should say a couple of words about checkup while we are talking about it. And so there are two positions about checkup. We spoke about that at the previous session. People who want to do health check. Well, the first option is a person. Well, a Russian person should be brought to the doctor. He will now come by himself on his feet, and he's always boasting to doctors that he never goes to doctors. But most of serious diseases, they do not have symptoms at early stages. A cardiovascular catastrophe, and the first symptom is the catastrophe itself. Because high cholesterol does not hurt, high pressure doesn't hurt, and the plaques before they are ruptured, they do not bother you. And the second type of attitude, like they say online in the internet, when a person is successful, he starts to think about his health, and he wants to do everything, all of the tests, some onco markers, MRI of the whole body. And we understand that a life of a person who does MRI of the whole body is split into two halves, before and after MRI, because they find lots of different cysts in the kidneys, hernias, in oblique area, and these things, they increase anxiety of this person, because he will start to think how to live with all that. So let us speak about what is stress, and for us that's an absolute enemy, but that's not exactly true. And who has stress out of those who are here? I think everybody will raise their hands. It turns out Kelly McNulty, a neurophysiologist, she said in one of her interviews, she said that 30,000 Americans were asked, like I asked you, do you experience stress, dear Americans? And some said yes, and some others said no, I'm okay, there is no stress in my life. And those people who had stress, then they asked, what's your attitude to stress? Somebody said, stress is killing me. And the second group of people say, no, I'm okay with stress. It gives me certain results, I get to a flow state and so on. And then they assess the life expectancy of those people who experience stress, but they are okay with it, they live longer compared to people who do not experience any stress. And people who experience stress and believe that stress is killing, they live the least. And it's important to understand that there is a good stress and bad stress. And also physical exercises are also belong to stress, and they generate hypercompensation. And you know, it doesn't make any sense to fight against this stress. This mechanism helps us to adapt. There is so-called Garnet's effect. When the Friedrich Nietzsche, the neurophysiologist, said, everything which does not kill us make us stronger, and it is firstly about stress. And I would like to say that short stress helps us to survive. When antelope sees that there is a leopard running towards it, so the heart starts beating faster and the blood is supplied to muscles, and then she runs away and is having rest. But if it happens for a long time, you cannot run away from that leopard. You constantly have high pressure, and it gives the trauma to your artery wall. No, I'm just talking in populist terms. Then there are micro ruptures, and these micro breaks are filled with cholesterol. Cholesterol is converted into plaque, and it has a liquid content. The plaque is ruptured, and it gets to the vessel lumen, and there is coagulation of blood on this ruptured plaque, and this clot is blocking the artery flow, and the blood supply of an organ stops. If it happens as that, this is a stroke, and it's heart attack, and if it happens in the brain, it's ischemic infarctus, ischemic stroke. And we need some mechanisms to fight against chronic stress, not short-term stress, chronic stress. And here there is a set of tools. It's not sports as is, but regular physical activity. Because when a person is thinking that he must do exercise and the trainer will torture him. But this is the business model of many fitness centers, when the people buy a fitness gym card and then they think about this torture. The trainers will torture them, and the person is just not attending the fitness center, but physical exercise is the exercise that we need to do every day. It's very simple. Just go outside instead of sitting on the bench, or instead of driving, just walk 10,000 steps a day, and it's also fight against stress. And 10,000 steps a day. This is some vague number, but the methods to fight stress, different dependencies, addictions, smoking, that's clear. So it's silly to speak about health with a smoker. Alcohol as a means of removing stress is quite contradictory, but we know that there is no safe dosage of alcohol. According to latest studies, alcohol in any amount is a substance which can cause atrial fibrillation, heart failure. Atrial fibrillation will cause embolic stroke. 7 types of cancer, all GIT cancers are connected with alcohol. We need some recreational activities, but physical exercise is not good for everybody. It will not relax you, so there are some contradiction. It may seem strange, but mindfulness methods, I don't know whether the accent is right. Meditation without esoteric components, they really help you to relax if you are in stress. And we should not forget about that. I will add if I forgot something. Oh, thank you. Thank you, and I'm happy to give floor to Gleb Arkhangelsky. This is a business trainer and also books on planning of your time.
Good day to you, dear colleagues. I understood the secret of timely start for every plenary session. You need to use a karate expert for a moderator, and you will start immediately on time, and all speakers will stick to the 10 minutes they given. I will remember about it. Dear colleagues, it's a very interesting, very exciting topic for all of us, and I will look at it from the point of time management, the science that I represent. And these are very clear things. We read books about sleep, about diets, about health. I will look at them from the point of time management principles, life hacks, and see how we can implement them in our lives. Because one thing is to understand what is going on. Another thing is to implement those principles into your life. Because here is your fridge, here is your gadget, and the fitness center is far away. So, since we started talking about sleep, I will start with the sleep. 2 observations in terms of managing your sleep. First of all, where do you find time for an extra sleep, because we all suffer from sleep deprivation. I found one advice very helpful. I used to have a large business, and there were many kids, and certainly this is detrimental for your sleep. I have 4 kids, born one after one, and of course I understand that with children you sleep not enough. So it was like one step after the other, and I felt very exhausted and couldn't wait for my vacation to start. So I talked to various experts, and there are many experts among my customers, heads of clinics, adepts of lifestyle, healthy lifestyle. And one person asked me, how much do you sleep? 7 hours at work days, and she said, try 8. And I told her, for me 7 is enough, and she said, try. And I tried to sleep for 8 hours, and I felt so much better, honestly. That was the second available piece of advice for me. This first one was to measure vitamin D and take vitamin D. So I started taking vitamin D, and it also helped me to get and feel more energetic. So where did I find an extra hour for sleep? In the reserve, all of us definitely have. So I looked at what I was doing with with social network, because I'm a public figure. I read books, and you may some of you may subscribe to my profiles, but I read a lot, and for me a norm was an hour per day for blogs. So after seminar I feel tired, I do nothing, and I read blogs, and I had quite a good selection. It was not policy or jokes, but looking at pictures of cats is helpful. I love dogs and not cats. For cats are not fun for me. So, as a mathematician, I understood that if I spend an hour per day on blogs, I spend on them 360 hours per year. A working week is 40 hours. It means that 10 working weeks I spend on blogs, I can write another book. So I have come up with simple rules, and I recommend it to you. First of all, I excluded social networks from my known rubbish time. Well, if I am riding a car, or I have 10 or 15 minutes, I can flip through the national network. So, for instance, we are waiting for the session. Yes, I can go to a social network, and this is it. But I excluded social networks from my office time and from my home time. And consumption of social media reduced by 10 times. I didn't lose anything. When the government was resigned, I was able to catch that. All important events will not slip my mind. Secondly, I told myself a very simple thing, and I think our colleague will support it. 2 hours before sleep, I do not look at any screen. It can be iPad or TV set. So I use paper books. I have more time for paper books. So plus I also bought very good curtains to make sure that it is dark in the bedroom. I also make sure that there is no lights from gadgets, and I didn't have to implement any radical changes in my lifestyle. In my daily routine, I just did not consume so much. I did not spend so much time on social networks. So I believe that you all have this reserve. We saw how many people do not sleep enough. So guys, do not deceive yourselves. You need to exercise more self-discipline. Another thing I would like to share with you: how can you structure these practices or implement them into your lives? 10,000 steps per day. Go to the swimming pool, climb up the 7 stairs, 70 floors up, or so on. I'll tell you the following. I resisted till the very last point. I'm not a healthy lifestyle adept. I feel miserable when I find myself in a community of people that love healthy lifestyle. I like alcohol quite a bit. I feel very positive about it in terms of alleviating my stress load. But the older you become, the more you need to think about it, the more you need to pay attention. to these things. And I work with top managers who also lack time, and for them stress is far more relevant topic. When you have 500 subordinates and you think not about only your salary, but about salary of 500 more people, and you have some risks from the tax authorities, from suppliers, this, that, and then the entire country does not work for 20 days and you don't know what's going on. Nobody works, but you need to continue paying salaries. So it's a big stress, and you cannot tell these people go to work, go and live in the country for all these 500 people, and you will feel fine. So stress is a natural part of their life. So I will give you very simple recommendations that are very helpful for my customers as you plan your year. By the way, who have written down goals for the year? Raise your hands. Half of the audience raise their hands. So you are good job, guys. So include some practices into your goals. For instance, I wrote a goal of how many times I should visit a swimming pool, how many steps I should make per day, and so on. And I'm a very paper-oriented person in terms of time management. So although I have gadgets, I still love taking hand notes. So I have a notebook where I put down my morning weight, my evening weight, and how many steps per day I made. And I also have days without alcohols and days with alcohols per my goals. And I can tell you I'm not in line with the standards of WHO, because standards say that you can drink only alcohol only 2 times a week, and then if you drink more, then you may already be regarded as a clinical alcoholic. So anyway, I have some tables and I put some marks. For instance, if I make 10,000 steps, I put plus mark. If I went to the swimming pool, I also put a plus mark. And because it's a very visual table, so I see that, okay, I plan this for the year, and I see whether I stick to my goals, to my principles or not. And then the quarter is gone. You see how much you have done, whether you have fulfilled 3 goals out of 10, and so on, and whether you're lagging behind or not. So this accounting is very helpful. Keep this notepad somewhere near the scales, for instance, and it is very helpful. And the second thing is to engage people around you. You know, I was a client of fitness class, something what was described earlier by a colleague. I would buy a membership, and then I would forget about the gym, and then I would I would receive a call saying like, "Are you going to renew your membership?" And saying, and they would tell me that 260 days ago you visited our gym for the first and last time. So I got a recommendation from one good busy guy. They said, you need to have a personal coach, then you have a chance. So I went to the fitness class, and of course it's more expensive than a fitness card, but it's not an astronomical amount of money, and it is more efficient. And I started doing something, and the coach would tell me that I wouldn't increase my muscle mass, and it looks like that I wasted my time doing some wrong movements. So most important thing is that you get a record in your calendar, you have a reminder, and you understand that you will not return your money. And also there is a condition with my coach: if I don't cancel my visit 4 hours before, I will have to pay. So it makes me feel more self-disciplined, and sometimes you feel more self-disciplined. And if I have already an agreement with a person, with a coach, I will go anyway. Otherwise, I feel I would let him down. and or you can get an agreement with your friends saying that we all together go to the gym on this day or this hour. So I know that on Wednesday and Monday at 9 p.m. I have my training session, and I go there for sure. And at weekends I have my home training, and I know that on Monday at 9 p.m. I have my training. So this is talking about the practices. And the third last thing, it is an idea of colossal importance. And this is related to what moderator said about Japan and preventiveness. So if you think about Russian people, they are very heroic. Like when Napoleon burned Kremlin, we are ready for some heroic movements. But thinking about something ahead of time is not something what is typical for Russian people. So what kind of advice can I give you? Set goals for a year. If you have not done it yet, write them down. You can do it electronically or on paper. So the classical figure is 7 plus minus 2. Very good figure for classical goals. And divide them in 3 groups. They can be professional goals. They can be a group of family goals, what you have around your parents or your children, and have some personal goals. There should be a work-life balance. And when I need to understand where I am, whether it has where are my personal goals about my visits to museum, etc., etc. Why does it look so paradoxical? Because work will always dominate. So work is very demanding. Family is also very, very demanding. How about myself? And you see, nobody will brazen your neck and say, why don't you do this and this? You love this. This is your hobby. Why don't you do this? So there should be 2 personal goals about yourself, not about only your family. If you want to run a marathon, or if you want to make a total checkup of your body, or if you want to start stitching, or if you want to go to the sauna twice a week, or for instance, I'd go to the music hall twice a month, and at this point, will you feel remorse that you ignored your family or your work? Would you feel bad? Yes, these are perfectionists. And I can tell you, as a chief expert in time management, I tell you it's okay to do it. Don't feel any remorse. Don't feel bad. So go and enjoy, because you invest in yourselves, because this is your resource activity. You invest in your family, because a tired mom or dad who didn't listen to good music is not a good mom. And your bosses also need energetic people who still have some enthusiasm. So start doing it today. So take a notepad and write down goals for the year, and make sure that there will be some personal goals. Thank you very much for your attention. Dear ladies and gentlemen, I would like to add that it should be an expensive notebook that you would not throw away, because I always say buy something nice and flashy, something what you will feel sorry to lose. Let's applause to our speakers. Everybody gave a brilliant speech. For me, it was very interesting. I had lots of associations. I thank you so very much, and I would like to thank organizers for this great selection of speakers. We have very little time left, so I ask you to give conscious questions. Can I stay here? My name is Dennis, and I always loved breaking rules, but a little bit. I have a brief question, and I'm sure you and everybody will like it. So it sounds as follows. I address it to everyone, but say 1 or 2 words. So the question is, there is an opinion that if we do something, our brain needs to praise itself. For instance, you did something, you say good job, and you avoid yourself with a cup of coffee or a visit or etc. So my question is, would you agree with this or not? And how do you praise yourself? Thank you. I always tell myself, good job, Serежа. You have a microphone if you would like to say something. Gleb. A good Cuban cigar and a glass of moonshine. How about you? Do you praise yourself, Dennis? No. Okay. Now I would like to give the floor to you. I do lots of sports and I have several coaches. So I would like to ask Dennis, did he do athletics or not? So I would like, I don't quite agree with him when he said a question. We have time for questions only. Does he believe that people should do athletics? But I feel it's not true, because we need to warm up and we need to run around. I'm sorry, I apologize. Dear ladies and gentlemen, I'm the moderator and I'm not going to address this question because it was not voiced. I don't feel tired walking around the question. You have 15 seconds to ask your question. We have very busy people here. I'm sorry, you have exceeded your limit. I'm sorry. No, so I approach you. Tell me who you address your questions. Sophia, can you tell me there are fitness trackers that show what kind of sleep you have, superficial or deep? Is there a difference? Fantastic sleep, fantastic question, and it's a great example for us. Well, thank you very much. I have same gadget, same application, and what can I say? So time when you go to bed and time when you wake up is something what these gadgets measure with a time of error of 11 minutes. And Apple Watch or another cheap one, so Garmin, not look at the depthness of the sleep. It will be measured in a wrong way, incorrectly. Thank you. Fantastic question and answer. So address your question and do it quickly. Also, question to Sophia. What do you think about sleeping pills? I know about something about melatonin, and by the way, I'm also very interested. As a dentist, I fly around a lot, and when I have a flight longer than 4 hours, I take a sleeping pill. Do I do it right? Yes. Because you need to manage your lifestyle and you do not do it regularly. But as for sleeping pills, I personally, as well as my colleagues, are against the sleeping pills because we have resources in order to restore our sleeping pattern. Last year, I published my book together with Roman Buslov, the chief somnologist of the country, How to Treat Sleeplessness within 6 weeks. I recommend that you familiarize yourself with our ideas. So good daily routine, say no to caffeine will help you a lot. Thank you very much. Now, thank you very much. I have a question for Sophia. How about decaffeinated coffee? Is it good? Does it have the same effect? And also, I'm a pensioner. The doctor recommends me sleeping more than I used to do in young age, so over 8 hours. Is it good or not? Thank you very much. A good question. You are the most popular speaker today. I always believe that sleep is the most important thing. Thank you. As for decaffeinated coffee, 2 milligrams per ounce is nothing. You can drink it with no problem, provided that it is good, expensive coffee without some additives that are not mentioned on the ingredient list. As for sleeping needs, there is individual need, and you should sleep in line with it. The need can be between 4 hours, like Napoleon had, up to 12 hours per day, or 10 hours per day. Normally, it's normally 7 to 8 hours, and pensioners or just mature people, they have same need in sleep. If you don't feel like sleeping more, don't do it. Better to sleep a bit less than a bit more. I have a question to Sergey and Dennis. There are two methods of training, very early ones at 6 o'clock a.m. or 5 a.m. and the night ones. Which is healthier? Dennis will answer this. He is an expert. So what is your opinion? I think it depends on a person. For me, it's more productive to train in the second half of a day. If I do training in the morning, I recover quicker because then you have full day activity based on my observation. But in terms of efficiency, in terms of your ability to invest your energy in every exercise, for me it's easier to do it in the evening than in the morning. For me, it's vice versa. I go to bed very early. At 10 o'clock, I go to bed, and I wake up at 5:30. And honestly speaking, if I have a training in the morning, I feel better. I think it is a matter of habit and your daily routine. Everything what we are talking about is related to time management, to your daily routine. This is how you manage your day. And sleep is the basis. We talked very little about diet, but Denise will support me as well as everybody else. The most difficult thing is not to force yourself go to the gym. That is to change your diet. And if you're able to change these two parameters, your life will improve dramatically. Your question? Dennis, hello. My question is the following. So what do you think about the following, that people do not consume enough micronutrients and you need to take additional food supplements? Very good question. I will tell you what it used to be like. I felt very negative about different food supplements, and I used to believe that you should just consume natural food, especially if you have enough diversity. Now I deal a lot with nutrition specialists, and I understand that we need to add food supplements into our diet. For instance, you need to add vitamin D, omega-3, omega-6, and many experts believe that they have to do it no matter how much time you spend under the sun.
So there are some other substances which are important, and in my phone I take notes of all of the advices I heard from people who inspire my confidence. If 2 or 3 experts they share this opinion, I move it to the next list of the final things to be done. Like I do that for time management, but just to hear for management of my life. And I will regularly follow this advice. Wonderful answer, your question. And the question to Andrei Asadov. Me, an ex-official, I would like to ask you, visiting public institutions is quite stressful. In your Live City project, do you have any project for Live Municipality, Live Bank, something like that? You know, from time to time, I'm visiting prisons, and I'm paying visits to prison. Yes, that's hugely stressful, extremely stressful. Well, yes, of course. And this hospital of the future, the clinic of the future, and that was the pilot, the building built with public funding. And now there is a large-scale reconstruction of Moscow outpatient clinics. And together with Transumed, we have 27 clinics for renovation. And Moscow government is working on public spaces. We noticed that schools, kindergarten, and municipal institutions and buildings, and it's possible in any function, and that's a different feeling for you. You get to this architectural being at molecular level, your mindset is changed and your lifestyle is changed. Architecture impacts you, influences you, whether you like it or not. You may not feel that, but second by second, day by day, you are being transformed, and in the environment transforms you when you get to the environment, and we want this environment to transform you for the better. So your question? A question to Gleb Arkhangelsky. Do you have female and male time management, and why some tricks like sticking to timing doesn't work for women? Yes, I will give you the mic. Well, that's why it's not working for women in time management. There is a big confidence. Your personal time management system should be very personal, based on peculiarities, and that can be different. It's not gender differences only, because there are girls top managers who are tougher and more disciplined than boys, and there are boys who are more chaotic personality, so to say. I don't know about any theory. So there are psychological types, and there is a list of time management tips. In my books, there are some tips. I'm not a psychologist, don't know deeply that topic, and this is studies for future generations. What you have to do, so that whether you're a man or a woman, more disciplined, more chaotic, more structured, more flexible. So you need to choose from time management tools, the ones that work for you. You just need to try them. The same with healthy lifestyle. Something works, something that I love the swimming pool. I don't love running. That's it. I go swimming. I don't go running. And the same is true about time management. Not all of the tools are good for me, and I not use all of the tools from my books. I use the ones that are better for me. You need to use the tools that are better for you. How to find them? It's the question of your creative search. And your question to whom? How to restore after a sleepless night? What's the right way? How to cope with when you're feeling sleepy? It was because you had insomnia. No, you had to spend the night without sleeping. Maybe you work in different shifts, or just happen. Do not sleep till the evening. So after you come from work, you need to go to sleep, and you should not be irritated by any sunlight. You can even put on the sunglasses. Sleep 6 hours. If not slept during the day, 3-4 hours. If you slept a little bit during the night, and then you wake up and continue with your regular routine with physical exercise, so that your body understands that it's daytime, and then on the next day you need to wake up at the same time. And my personal experience, and then young people say that they don't like to wake up early, so everybody does if they go to the army, and there are no such morning person or night person. There was no electric line, there were no TVs. Put away your gadget, take care of yourselves. On behalf of all of our speakers, on organizers, I would like to thank all of you. You did the most important thing. You came here. It means that all of you already started thinking about your health. That's good. You were not brought to the doctor by somebody and you're a wonderful audience. We are really grateful to you. Hugs. I wish you health. Where do I do gyms? The park of 850 years of October, metro station Prospect Vernadskoe. It's for free, open for everybody. Come and join. So goodbye. Let us applaud to our speakers. Thank you.